Thailand has always been Asia's golden gateway, the one destination that seemed immune to time, crisis, or change. But in 2025, the cracks are finally showing, and they run deeper than anyone expected. For decades, Thailand's tourism economy felt unstoppable. It was the country that turned hospitality into an art form and adventure into an export. But beneath the glow of temples and the neon of nightlife, a silent dependency was forming, one that would eventually become its greatest weakness. What began as a global success story is now turning into a regional cautionary tale. And what's happening here in Thailand could soon reshape travel across all of Asia. It started with empty planes, then with quiet beaches, and finally, with hotel lights that no longer needed to stay on. For the first time in a generation, Thailand's biggest cities and smallest islands are feeling the weight of a global tourism slowdown that refuses to reverse. The numbers tell one story, arrivals dropping, revenues shrinking, but the streets tell another. There's a sense of fatigue, like a country holding its breath between what it was and what it must become. To understand how Thailand reached this point, you have to go back to what made it powerful in the first place. Tourism wasn't just an industry here, it was an identity. It built highways, airports, and entire coastal towns out of sand and imagination. It gave Thailand influence far beyond its borders, soft power earned through smiles, culture, and open arms. But that success came at a price. Over time, tourism stopped being a boost and started becoming a dependence. When the world slowed down, Thailand didn't just lose visitors, it lost the rhythm that kept its heart beating. The early warning signs were ignored. Rising prices, saturated cities, unbalanced policies, each small shift chipped away at the foundation. Then came the global uncertainty that made people cautious, followed by the travel fatigue that changed what tourists look for. The same travelers who once saw Thailand as their first escape began searching for somewhere quieter, cheaper, or newer. Places like Vietnam, Indonesia, and Cambodia began offering similar warmth with fresher allure. The balance of power in Southeast Asian tourism started to move. But Thailand's deeper challenge isn't competition, it's complacency. When a country builds its success on being everyone's favorite, it risks being no one's priority. Bangkok, Phuket, and Pattaya still shine, but their gloss now hides the anxiety of an industry waiting for a miracle. Hotel owners talk about soft seasons that never end. Taxi drivers wait hours for a single fare. Beach vendors stare out at waves that once carried opportunity. Even the luxury sector isn't immune. High-end resorts are cutting prices just to maintain occupancy, eroding the exclusivity they once sold with pride. Thailand's strength used to be its balance, affordability with elegance, accessibility with mystery. But in the race to grow, that balance tipped too far. The country began chasing volume instead of value. And once you sell paradise at a discount, it's hard to raise the price again. The Western traveler notices it first. The same street that once felt exotic now feels commercial. The same welcome that once felt warm now feels practiced. None of this happened overnight. It's the slow decay that comes when success becomes routine and reinvention feels unnecessary. For years, Thailand was the teacher of tourism, the model every developing nation copied. Now, it risks becoming the warning label. Even with government campaigns and travel incentives, the energy that once defined Thailand's hospitality feels thinner. You can still find beauty here, in the islands, the food, the smiles, but the country's confidence has changed. In 2025, the question isn't, when will tourists return? It's, will they return for the same reasons at all? Because travelers today aren't just seeking beaches and bargains. They're searching for meaning, safety, and authenticity. And Thailand's biggest competitors aren't just other destinations, they're new expectations. This shift isn't just economic, it's cultural. The old model of mass tourism is colliding with a new generation that values experiences over consumption. Bangkok's luxury malls and rooftop bars now share attention with Chiang Mai's slow-living retreats and Krabi's eco-lodges. The hierarchy is changing. You can feel it even in conversation. Locals talk less about profit and more about preservation. But transformation is never simple. Reinventing an identity built on comfort requires discomfort. That's Thailand's challenge now, learning to thrive without chasing the crowd. For decades, the world came to Thailand for freedom. Now Thailand must rediscover its own. The signs of change appear quietly at first. A closed shop in Phuket, a darkened massage parlor in Pattaya, a hotel rooftop that no longer glows past midnight. But every shuttered door tells the same story. The tourists didn't just stop coming, they started going elsewhere. Across the region, new destinations are rewriting Asia's tourism script. Vietnam feels fresh. Indonesia feels undiscovered. Cambodia feels cheaper. The pattern is unmistakable. The world is chasing what Thailand used to represent: adventure wrapped in warmth. Thailand was the brand everyone trusted, but trust, once taken for granted, begins to fade when the experience feels predictable. Even loyal travelers are drifting away, saying the country feels overrun, commercial, less real. Those are words no nation wants attached to its name. For years, the answer was to build more. More resorts, more malls, more airports. But growth doesn't guarantee magic. Every island once hidden became a headline. Every temple once sacred became a backdrop for someone's vlog. The charm that built Thailand's empire of tourism is now what it risks losing forever. And yet, under the noise, something remarkable is happening. A new generation of Thais is quietly rebuilding the meaning of travel. They're not selling escapes, they're curating experiences. In Bangkok, small boutique hotels trade size for soul. In Chiang Rai, slow-life lodges invite travelers to disconnect. Koh Yao, Pai, and Nan are whispering the future, places where fewer people mean deeper connections. They're redefining what it means to visit Thailand, less about luxury, more about belonging. Because true luxury isn't excess anymore. It's authenticity, it's space, it's silence. The travelers of tomorrow don't just want to see Thailand, they want to feel it again. And that's the opportunity hidden inside the collapse. When an industry breaks, it forces reinvention. Thailand's tourism doesn't need to grow wider, it needs to grow wiser. If it succeeds, it could lead Asia again, not by being the cheapest, but by being the most meaningful. But failure would echo far beyond its borders. Across Southeast Asia, millions watch what happens next. Because Thailand isn't just a country, it's a symbol. If the symbol falls, it shakes confidence from Bali to Hanoi. Investors, airlines, and governments measure their risks by its outcome. That's why this moment matters more than headlines suggest. The region's future depends on how Thailand adapts. A new kind of traveler is emerging, global, conscious, and loyal to experience over price. They're not chasing destinations anymore, they're chasing emotions. Thailand must learn to give them that again, not through spectacle, but through sincerity. Because what made this country special wasn't just beauty, it was balance. The balance between chaos and calm, between luxury and life, between welcome and wonder. When you walked its streets, you didn't just visit, you felt seen. That feeling built an empire of return visitors that money alone can't buy. To bring them back, Thailand must rediscover that human heartbeat. It has to stop selling escape and start selling understanding. The same energy that made it Asia's playground can make it Asia's teacher, if it dares to evolve. Change isn't failure, it's evolution under pressure. Just as coral reefs regrow after storms, so too can tourism rebuild from silence. The fall of 2025 may one day be remembered not as a collapse, but as a cleansing. The world doesn't need another postcard, it needs perspective. And Thailand, for all its bruises, still holds the perspective Asia can learn from. It's the reminder that beauty must be earned, not consumed, that culture must be lived, not sold. The beaches will fill again, the plains will return, but the question is, what version of Thailand will they find when they do? Because if the country listens, adapts, and simplifies, it can lead again, not through numbers, but through nuance. It can become the example of sustainable recovery that turns a fall into a foundation. For travelers, that means a deeper reward. The Thailand of the future won't just entertain you, it will change you. It will be less about selfies and more about silence, less about the rush and more about the realization that paradise isn't lost. It's just learning how to breathe again. That's the final truth hidden inside the collapse. Sometimes a country has to break its image to rediscover its soul. And when Thailand finds that balance once more, the rest of Asia will follow. Because this has never been just about tourism. It's about identity, resilience, and what happens when beauty stops trying to impress and starts trying to heal. The collapse was never the end. It was the invitation to begin again, on purpose this time.